Hi everyone, I hope you're good guys. Today, new video about my Liveset. I know it's been a long time I haven't talked about it, I haven't made a video. I was pretty busy during the summer, I have other projects to do. So I kind of put it aside for the summer, and then last week I get back to it and I'm gonna make you an update about how it is now. And today we're gonna mainly talk about the session, how I've put the things, and then after we make other video about what controller I use, what is controlling, and stuff like that. During the summer, I could have still thinking about how I will handle things, how I will make stuff, and the first changement will be like, I wanted initially like to have like the scene launching automatically and kind of following the same arrangement than the original track, but I kind of changed this because I mean, it's like for some of the track, I will still do that, like where the track I really want to keep the structure, where I think like the structure is important, and if I change it, it really gives something wrong. You know, I can still like make some part longer or shorter, but I wanted to keep like the same structure. But there is other track I realized that it might be funnier for me, like to be able to just like decompose them in different parts and playing this part live, and even like between two songs I can play like the hats from this sound and with the rest of this track, and it works really well. So yeah, as you can see, like here I've separated and I'm renaming everything more or less. Like here is just like for the hats, here is just like close hi-hat, here is close hi-hat and open hi-hat, here is close hi-hat, open hi-hat, S is for shaker and R for ride. And I kind of divide the track between each different kind of variation of each track. For example, perk, you know, see here I will have like just perk 1 playing, here I will have perk 1 and perk 2, and there I will have perk 1, perk 2 and perk 3. So I kind of keep this like this for now because I haven't played with the Liveset still enough, but I will probably get rid of this double stuff and just keep one version of each. And I've done the same with the scent, and I've done the same with the lead. You see you have like different kind of modulation, and I can easily like, I don't need to follow from up to down. I can go there, for example, play C and B first with modulation 2, and then with this hat I can really like mix everything and cross everything and don't follow like a fixed guideline. So just a quick reminder about how I arrange the session. I wanted to have like 8 track session to fit on my controller, because my main controller will be the Push 2, which has like kind of 8 track. And with the Push 2, I will control mainly the launching the clip and some automation and playing notes live. And on the end came a new controller that I kind of didn't want it because it's currently, and you cannot buy it anymore. It's like a discontinued project, and it's the Fox PC44. So if you see my previous video, I wanted to buy another version which is kind of similar. It's kind of like a surface controller with a lot of knobs. So this surface will control all kind of the mixing part, you know, like the gain, the kind of EQ, FX send, but I will use it as well for different reasons, but I will come back to this later. And then the last controller that I will be using will be the BeatStep, where that I will use like to trigger live drums. You know, I remember I wanted to play drum live, like snare, claps, hats, or even percussion to play live and bring the sound to another direction. So that will be my 3 main controllers. So I needed 8 track, and basically originally on the end I didn't want it to put SFX part of this 8 track that I can control, but I decided to keep it because it can be interesting to send FX and to modulate it to get nice ambience. And on the end, with my drum live and my synth live tracks that I wanted to actually initially to put, I don't really need them to have control over it straight away. I mean about the clip, launching the clip, because the synth live on the end, it will be like something, it will be always the same clip playing. I will come back to this later, but I didn't really need to have the control of the clip rather than the drum live. I need it because if I need to record live like a drum pattern, I can just like launch it and then automate and delete, duplicate, etc. So that's how it came. So that will be my 8 track. So just a quick reminder, the first will be like the kick bass together, and I will come back to this effect when I will explain the controller in the next video, because it will take too long otherwise. I still have hats, perk, send A. So that's all audio and it's loop, and I can play with them. Like I said, I can jump from one to another, play from one to another. As is the ambient effects as well, is audio, and same for the other one. And then come the interesting things is the lead 1 and the lead 2. So basically this is like I explained, I wanted to keep like 1 or 2 original synths from each track to be able to control them live and to have like full over control of the synth. And my main problem was like actually like how I'm gonna switch from one preset to another when I change the track. So I create this instrument rack. As you can see, there is a lot of chain with each preset of each main for the lead 1 for each track. It's present there. So obviously I had to find a way to, when I select one for the first track, I want all the other to be deactivated, to be enabled, because otherwise it will take too much CPU. So let me explain you what I've done. So once I bring all of the different preset into the instruments rack, first thing I needed to do is like to be able to switch one from one preset to another, and you in live you have like this chain stuff. And what I've done, the first one I put it on the 1, the second one I put it on the 2, the third one on the 3, and I assign this chain selector to the macro 8. So like this I can easily change from one preset to another. So that's very handy and allow me to quickly switch from one preset to another. Hi, sorry, just a little pause in this video because I realized that I forgot to tell you how I could change one preset to another and make one activated when is this one selected and the other deactivated when they are not selected. So what I've done is I map the toggle on/off button to the chain selector, and by this way when I go to map here and I can edit the value, minimum, maximum value, I could just, for example, for the when it's select on 3, so it's the third preset, I put minimum 3 and max 3. So like this third chain is only activated when the chain selector is on 3 and deactivated all the rest of the time. So if I change, it's not anymore activated. So that's the way I've done that, and that's how it worked to have just the one selected activated and all the other deactivated. Now, as I didn't want you to do this manually because you have to be very like careful and anyway, I wanted to be able to do this like automatically. So one thing I've done in the clip, you can choose envelope and you can choose like this macro from your rack, and like for example here I automate in 1 because I want the first track to play the first preset, and all the clips are automated. It's a kind of trigger for, you see, it's not really like automation, but it's saying like, okay, stay in 1, and for the second it's in 2, okay, 2 2 2, and then for the third track it's in 3. So like this I can jump from one clip to another and it will switch the preset automatically. So you see here it's playing the first one, but if I play the third preset up, straight away it's jumping here and it's playing this preset, and if I go down for this one, it's playing this one automatically. So that's really great because it's jumping the preset, I don't have to worry about that, and it's one less headache during the live. So my main issue was like I wanted to keep all the original automation for the track, you know, just to have like a safe version and be able, if I want to play live on top of this, and go back to the safe version. But the way to do that, I have to assign alt the cutoff macro for example, if I wanted to control the cutoff, all the cutoff macro of all the different presets like who are in different chain to one and unique macro and to this one. So by this way, if I modify like this macro, we always control the cutoff of any scent, you know, for this one or for the first one. You get the idea. And the first one doesn't have cutoff, but alright, this macro is always control the cutoff of any preset, of all the preset actually. So I map all, I've been to all different presets and I took the cutoff and I assigned to macro one, and I've done the same for all the preset. Right click, add to macro one. The only thing is I've lost all the original automation from all the clip, and I have to, I'm gonna show you, I have to copy paste all of the original automation from all the parameter, which was quite a pain in the ass, but I didn't really have a choice, because as far as you put your preset in an instrument rack in a different chain, all the automation, you cannot copy paste like automatically the automation, you have to do it manually. I'm just gonna show you, for example, for this one. So that was like how I was exporting my track, you see, and I was just like, basically, I showed this in another video, but I was just like taking everything there every time I wanted to add a new track, and it was coming like this, and then I was just like adding kick bass up here to the Liveset, and then after I was like putting color, cleaning what I didn't need, etc. And so for the leads, let me just show you what I was talking about. So here you can see there is the filter automation, but obviously when I will transpose it here, oh no here, when I will transpose it here, I will lose all automation. You see, I don't have any more automation, so I have to basically go there, go to filter one. Now let me check one where there is more automation, like go there, filter one, click copy envelope, and then I have to go inside here, make sure I go to cutoff and then copy the envelope and then paste the envelope, sorry. So that's what I have to do. It was a bit long and pain in the ass, but honestly now it's so much fun and I can just swap from one to another. The good thing the why I wanted to do that is because I can, for example, like this one is playing automatically, but if during the live I want to play with this cutoff especially, I can just play, you know, I will be playing. But the good thing to have the original automation, if I click on this button here, Reenable Automation, it will go back to the original automation automatically. So let me show you. Okay, I'm playing. I'm having so much fun, oh la la. And then I wanna go back to the automation. So like this, it will keep follow the automation and I'm hand-free and I don't need to worry about this anymore. So that's pretty cool because I can really improvise. That's what the kind of the mindset of my Liveset. It's like having the original content, but being able at any point to take another direction, bring the song to another direction, but always being able to switch back to the original content. You see, like, and very smoothly. So that's one of the steps that allowed me that I can really play with the cutoff of the both scent and then bring back to normal, or even with all the FX and etc. I can really like play, go somewhere, and then if I wanna modify another things, for example, if I've played enough with the cutoff and I wanna add some drum live, I switch back to the original automation and I can then, like, the filter is still keeping modulating and I can still play my drum live. So that's pretty cool. So that's what I've done for lead 1 and lead 2, so like this I can really like jump from one to another, and I can even like, because that's the cool thing is, for example, I've got this one playing, I can play easily jump from one sound to another. So that allowed me a lot of flexibility. And one thing I didn't talk about is this crossfades file. So what's that? That's basically I realized that when I start a little bit to play live to try to mix the, like to bring the new track and to get rid of the old one and to make a nice transition, I realized that I cannot control everything and have like the hands on like changing the drum where I'm changing the sound where I'm changing everything, you know, and in the same time using the FX to help the transition. I cannot do that all by myself. It's just impossible. So for saying I'm XFX, which are not like the main elements, but they are still there, and if you change them too brutally, you can hear it. So basically, if I wanna switch from this ambience to this one, like if I do like this, it's too brutal. And so what I've done, this crossfade file, basically I select this file and I select this one, and then I go there, and actually I've done it. You still have an old version of what I've done. And basically if you grab the stuff here, the little handle, you can go like this, and it's basically creating like a crossfade, fade in, fade out. So like this you can smoothly change from an ambience to another. So this way I can really like switch from an ambience and the same audio from one to another, and without really worried. I can just launch this, and then after what I've done is I loop the end of the new bar of the new audio. So like this, I just press that, I know it's gonna crossfade, and if I play this one here, it's gonna be the same than this loop here. And that's really helped me for the transition, and I can still keep focus on the leads or on the drum in the meantime. So yeah, then let's talk about drum live. So this will be, I will use the bass step to control that. I'm just gonna talk quickly about it. It's just like I have a drum rack with clap, snare, ride, which is basically ride and hat, it's not only ride, and pack 1, pack 2. And yeah, this is really allow the track to add some live drum during the performance, and I can record it, add automation, and that's really great. And this synth live as well is the same. So I remember I wanted first to have like a properly synth to add like kind of melody or stuff live, but I think it won't really work. I will see. I need to play a little bit live, and I found another things for that. It's another rack, I will talk about it later, another amperk, and where I can add kind of extra texture and extra percussion, and which will fit way much more better my track, because you know most of the track they already have like one or two melody or kind of hook, and if I add an extra one, you know, it's just gonna sound cheesy and it's more probably not gonna work. So I will see. For now we keep like this, maybe later I will add a synth, I don't know. Then this drum live MIDI I will explain is something could trigger my drum, which is working with the beat step and which trigger my live drum. And yeah, this is nothing. And yeah, then it's just my mix down, where I have here is the locals that I will automate. This the bit reduction is from some tracks that are in the original arrangement that I need to keep it, and they are like really important. And the thing is like it's during a break, and there is so many automation going in the same time that I cannot control everything. So I keep the original, and I keep all the original automation, and I will see how we deal with. And so on the mixdown, there is basically the rest is like all my main master effects, if I can say it. So the controller, I show you there is like 8 big knobs that I say, oh, it would be great to have this big knob just like for kind of master effect. So the first one is like the riser, like the one you know, to get what second? I don't know. Up, another one. Okay, let's say that one. So the first one is this one. See, I have a low cut as well. Then I have this one. Oh, I haven't talked about the return, which is basically one of my master effects is basically sending all the track except the kick to this B return track. And it's kind of similar to the riser, except it's just like delay reverb, and it's just this kind of wash out DJ effect. And that's really great to just temporarily add some texture or help with transition. It's then on the mixdown, I have as well riser too. So the master effect, basically I have these 4 knobs, so I have to find FX. They are not like the definitive FX. It's a kind of different version of this riser. It's pretty similar. You're gonna see it. Yeah, and then was this one, the pitch one, which is basically frequency shifter to pitch your track. So that will be great for the break to use with the riser. So yeah, that's still work in progress. I don't know if it will be the definitive effect, but yeah, that's for now what I've got. And then yes, let's talk about the return. So return is great. Like this will be like send FX that I can send each track individually on this. And basically it's as I said, it's like the riser. It's like kind of delay reverb. And let me show you with the art. It's either like to add an extra groove, like for example with the art it's working well. Let me take like a simple loop, and if I send FX, you see it's kind of can be as an effect or can be like using to an extra loop, extra texture. You can it's either the way you want. Same with the Z. If I use it, I can like add this kind of extra texture effect. But if I use for the perk, I can use as a more like SFX or you see, like in one shot SFX, or if I want to add a bit of ambience. Alright, so the B we see is like for the master effect to send, everything there. And then the C is it's what I've called secret sauce. It's kind of similar to this one, but I don't want to reveal what it is because it's kind of, it's not secret, but you know, it's kind of what's gonna make things maybe a little bit different than everything else. So it's just giving this. You see, it's kind of adding, it's very textural and adding kind of nice texture, extra texture. So I will probably tell you one day what it is, but not for now. Alright, and I think that's it for the session. Like I said, yeah, I still need to work on the transition and how I make transition between track. Now it's kind of like very rough and I need to play around, you know, to cut things a little bit. So yeah, you see there is track like where I can play like, it will be like loop, and I need to pass to the next one until to change the scene to go forward. And there is more like where it's, so this one is the same, it will be like more like, you see there is, it will be like, it will change automatically. It's a mix of both, it depends on the track, and I said like the arrangement. There is some track like it needs to go in one direction and the automation go in the direction that I have only two hands and I cannot control everything, and I need to like to be like a little bit helped and automated and help me to go further. So yeah, next time I will talk about the two next episodes. One will be one for each separate controller and how I use them. So it will be first the PC44, which I use like more like kind of mixer and FX Send. There is after another video with the BeatStep Pro, how I used to play my drum live, and finally with the Persh, how I use it like more like as a main station where I launch script, I can play notes, and yeah, that one thing I forgot, by the way. I wanted to keep the preset because I can, if there is one preset playing, I can still use the keyboard or the push actually and add some extra notes during the live. You see, like so that's the cool thing to have the original preset, and that's why I really want it. I think it's actually better to add variation to the original sound rather. You see, that's why I didn't keep the synth live, like adding an extra synth, because I think it will sound cheesy. So, I mean, I don't know yet, but yeah, being able to play different notes of the same preset, to add variation, to maybe record it, and yeah. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching, and see you in 2 or 3 weeks for the next episode. See you guys, bye bye.